Primera keynote de la jornada con este What does the future of insurance looks like? De mano de Roger Peverelli, que es director y cofundador de ITC DIA Europe. Nos hablará desde su experiencia cómo se vislumbra el futuro. Esta keynote será en inglés, pero como no podía ser de otra manera y con esa transformación digital de la que somos a vanguardia, tenemos todo subtitulado mediante inteligencia artificial, tanto para los que estamos aquí en pantalla como en streaming desde casa. Así que sin más, un fuerte aplauso, Roger Peverelli.
Thank you for your kind words, Helena, and first of all, of course, thank you for having me. The future of insurance, what does it look like? Doesn't work. Can anyone help me? Now it works. Perfect. Last Saturday, I had to pick up my wife at the airport. It was kind of early, like 7 o'clock in the morning. There was no one there. Her plane had delay. So I went to a Starbucks to get a cup of coffee. Totally empty. And there was just one man just entered in front of me. And he ordered 1 double espresso. And then the lady, of course, asked, "What is your name?" And he said, "John." I was in a rather funny mood. So when I had to order something, I asked for a double espresso as well. And when the lady asked, "What is your name?" I said, "John." Total panic. It just shows how procedures can create the wrong end result. Things become less personal instead of more personal. And that's something that could also take place when artificial intelligence is not properly managed by all of us. One of my friends, he has a food factory, and only a few weeks ago, a broker came to visit him, and he brought him a nice report of all the risks that are associated with his business, generated by Gen AI. Unfortunately, the broker didn't understand half of what was in it, so didn't conclude much business. So we need to make sure that we manage it better, and foremost, manage the human side, the feeling side. We need to understand much better what technology does with people. This Gen AI example is one, but I think that from everyday life, there's also numerous examples. Take, for instance, Tinder. I don't know what it is, but you know, like a lot of people use it. And do you know that every day there are 1.6 billion swipes on Tinder and 26 million matches? And 30% of the heterosexual relationships in the US are already through this important online channel. So that is what new technologies does with human relationships, and that's what we need to learn from. The rise of wearables or of sensors, the figures speak for themselves. It is so huge, and then think of all the data that comes with it. And this is where the real value of AI is. To us, it's not in chatbots primarily and things like that, because that is yielding short-term and important improvements for the primary process. But the bigger picture is that AI gives us the ability to work with so much more data that is currently out of our scope. And it will allow us to gain new insights and develop new propositions. And that's where the real play is coming from. So that's basically where we feel that the future of insurance looks like. And let me show you a few of the glimpses that we've witnessed so far. The first is health and wellness platforms. I think we all know the concept of vitality, but we see that it takes place also in other adjacent industries moving into the insurance space. To give you an example, Philips, the consumer electronics firm that really changed themselves into a health tech firm, they created this app called Pregnancy Plus. And just look at the figures. They're really impressive, right? This is the kind of engagement that is also much valued by a growing number of insurance companies that team up with Philips to use their platform to communicate with a difficult to reach target audience. Because this is the kind of engagement that we would like. And think of all the data that comes from those dialogues. Another example, in automotive, the trend of UBI to really integrated mobility. To us, the best example is in Italy. It's a company called UnipolSai, and they're the largest P&C insurer in Italy. And they created a network of all kinds of businesses in mobility, in automotive. They, for instance, are the owner of the largest car lease firm. And they also have the application to pay your toll road every time you go on the highway. Now, they got 4 million cars driving around with those little boxes and what have you that monitor how you drive. 4 million. So what they found out is that 98% of all Italians don't drive longer than 300 kilometers on a single day. And then they thought these could be the perfect customers for electric cars. Using their car leasing company, they've created the concept together with the largest utility company to merge, to transfer their customer base to electric cars and even offering them an electric charging pole in front of their house. Those kind of concepts are really going to make a big difference. We also see that in home services, especially among the elderly target group. And that is something that we seem to neglect, but look at these figures, how important the silver economy is. The silver economy is really a golden opportunity. Now, these are not only like senior surfers, which are very vital. These are also the very old that need to be looked after much better than we currently do. And there's all sorts of AI appliances already in place that help, for instance, their children to monitor how the financial situation of the parent, the elderly parent, is being used or misused. So all the payments that go through a bank monitored by AI, and if there's a payment that is irregular, there's this signal going to the kid, to the child, who can then take appropriate action. It is about signaling, it is about censoring. Think also about sensor in a water kettle that shows at 9 o'clock in the morning when normally your mother is making a cup of tea. If that is being used, if it's not used at 9:30, perhaps it's a good idea to give a call. Well, these are kind of concepts, they will become more important. So what we see is that the scope of health and life plans will change. It will converge with home, with maybe even cyber, and with health solutions to make sure that people stay comfortable in their own home. The same also for mortgages. Like they will change to housing plans so that people can stay longer in their house, and all sorts of things, including even maintenance, is combined there. So these are 3 glimpses of the future, and I must say we're just scratching the surface. But these 3 examples, they have several things in common. 5 things actually. They all use ecosystems. They build a network of companies around them. What they all do is that they know that the economic engine is the contact frequency that they have with customers and the level of engagement, and that's quite different than how we insurance companies used to work. They try to create added value using data and using AI, and what we also see, that there's a shift in the relationship between the company and the individual customer. It is not a transactional relationship, but it's really more collaborative. It's more participatory, which also allows you to shift, for instance, responsibilities at some point in time. Those were 4. The 5th is the most important one. And that is that we need to make sure that we give those customers superpowers. Superpowers based on the data that they share with us. That's the reciprocity. Reciprocity is the way to make sure that people allow us to use data. We never told them what we do with the data, so let's start with doing that. But it's really giving them superpowers. We know those superpowers from everyday life. Think about how we use Google Maps to go to places where we've never been before. Or how we can even speak different languages, or speak with people who do speak in other languages using certain apps. And it's these kind of superpowers that we need to strive for. So that would be my key message. Use AI to create those superpowers, rather than just only improve your primary process. Of course, you will have a fantastic day today, and we already went through the networking area, and I can imagine that you are getting quite inspired by all the conversations that you will have today. If you don't have enough, then do join us in Amsterdam in June, where we have a similar kind of conference, but then in a different country, which is quite a nice country as well, by the way. Thank you very much for your attendance.